We know who the Mighty Nein will be fighting next month.
Who told the journalist?
Before we hit today's tabletop news, be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons so you never miss a tabletop and fantasy update. It appears that the Mighty Nein Reunited special will focus on Uk'otoa. The Argentinian Cinemark website briefly had a description for the Mighty Nein Reunited that confirmed the plot of the upcoming Critical Role special. The website read, "The Mighty Nein have started new chapters in their lives, but while Ford and Jester are sailing through the open sea, they discover that an old enemy still stirs under the waves, and soon will be unleashed.
This all seems horrible.
The Mighty Nein reunite and sail to close Uk'otoa's chapter forever." Now, as we mentioned in our announcement video, Uk'otoa was perhaps the biggest unresolved plot thread left in Campaign 2. Uk'otoa was a deity created by the serpent god Zahir to serve as Zahir's proxy once the betrayer gods were banished during the Calamity. However, Uk'otoa was also eventually sealed away, along with two other beings of similar power, Deseret and Quajoth. The three creatures had a pact that if one ever escaped their respective prison, they'd help the other to escape. But all three remained trapped by the time the second campaign started. Now, as we saw in the second campaign, Uk'otoa came actually pretty close to getting freed, but Ford came to his senses eventually, and the whole plotline was, well, it was dropped. We'll have to see how Uk'otoa returns to vex the party next month. The special will air on Twitch, YouTube, and at select Cinemark theaters.
And now for something completely different.
Exalted Funeral launched the Kickstarter for Monty Python's co-curricular medieval reenactment program, a new tabletop RPG inspired by Monty Python's assorted shows and specials. We all expected that this game would be a hit, but I don't think anyone expected that the game would raise over $800,000 in less than a day. The Kickstarter was helped along by a special Sash giveaway, but this is still fantastic news for the tabletop game industry. For those wondering how the game will work, this new Monty Python RPG will use a brand new game system, one in which players create a character with 5 traits. Each trait is ranked somewhere on the silly to serious spectrum, with more serious traits represented by a larger size dice, and sillier traits represented by a smaller dice. When players roll the maximum number on their dice, that trait becomes more serious, and future rolls are made with a larger dice. Rolling a 1 causes that trait to become more silly, and the dice size then shrinks. Players can also receive merits and demerits, with demerits potentially triggering a roll on the Table of Dire Consequences. This Kickstarter will almost certainly pass $1 million by the weekend, and you should check it out. The Kickstarter for the Monty Python's co-curricular medieval reenactment program will remain open to November 18th. Check it out, or we'll set the legendary Black Beast of Arg after you.
He's got huge, sharp. He can leap about. Look at the bones!
In somewhat surprising Dungeons & Dragons news, Ray Winninger announced that he had stepped down from his role as the head of the D&D design team at Wizards of the Coast. Winninger had been the head of the studio since at least 2020 and oversaw the release of a number of setting-themed books, which were something of a rarity before he took over. Winninger also oversaw the release of Monsters of the Multiverse, which made revisions to a number of monster stat blocks and kind of served as a harbinger for the upcoming One D&D reboot or revised edition. On Twitter, Winninger said that shepherding D&D was an honor and a privilege, but he's looking forward to slowing down and getting back to a list of personal design projects. Most of all, he looks forward to following D&D as a fan again. We here at the Charcter Sheet wish Ray the best. Are you looking forward to the Mighty Nein's rematch against Uk'otoa? Let us know in the comment section, and be sure to like this video and subscribe to the Charcter Sheet.